If someone followed you around all day, every single day of your life, and they spoke to you the way that you speak to yourself, would you want them in your life? I want you to think about that for a moment. How many times have you said, I'm so stupid. I'll never get this right. I'm such a failure. I'm not good enough. Now, I want you to really think about whether you would say that to someone that you love deeply. All those negative things that you say to yourself on a day to day basis, would you dare say that to someone you cared for deeply? I know that you wouldn't. So it wasn't a trick question. It was just really to make you think. You wouldn't say those things to someone that you cared about. So why do we consistently, repeatedly say those things to ourselves? Today, I want to reframe the voice that we hear most often. It's our own. Hello, beautiful human. It's your girl, Andrea, and welcome back to Reframe with Andrea, where together we challenge old beliefs, we shift our perspective, and intentionally create the lives that are aligned with who we truly are. Last episode, we talked about um, how our minds believe the stories that we consistently repeat. Today, uh, I want to take it a step further because every story is written with words. Um, and the words that we repeatedly speak to ourselves, um, they eventually become the way that we see ourselves. So I want to explore why your inner chatter, your inner voice, really matters more than you may realize. Here's a thought. You're always listening. And something fascinating is that your brain is always listening. And it's not just to other people, but it's to yourself. Every time you say, I can't, I'm not capable, I'll probably mess this up. Your mind, it puts those words away in a filing cabinet up there in your head. And eventually, those words, they stop sounding like opinions and they start feeling and sounding like truth. Imagine that your mind is like a beautiful garden. Every thought is a seed. And sometimes those seeds grow flowers. And others, well, they grow weeds, those pesky things that we try to get rid of. but they keep growing back. So if you're constantly planting criticism, self-doubt, fear, those are the plants that will eventually sprout and fill your garden. But if you intentionally begin planting compassion, hope, encouragement, um, your landscape, your garden, it changes. Um, and that changes one seed, one thought at a time. Encouragement isn't arrogance. Some people may say, um, if I'm too kind to myself, I'll become lazy. Like, these are things that we actually say to ourselves. But think about the people whom have helped you grow. Um, were they the ones that constantly criticized you? Or were they the ones that always believed in you, especially when you didn't believe in yourself? And your inner voice should become kind of like a guide, not a bully. I know I can't stand bullies, but we are the worst bullies to ourselves. That is a true statement. I mean, I bullied myself for years upon years upon years upon years. And what I needed was a coach that we all possess within ourselves. And that is the guide, right? You have to start by changing the conversation that you have with yourself. I'll keep saying this throughout these conversations, but it doesn't mean that you're going to go around pretending that everything is perfect, because we know that everything is not always perfect. But what I will say is that the conversation with yourself must change. It needs to change. It is in your best interest that it changes. Instead of, I failed, try saying, I learned. And instead of saying, I'm terrible at this, try saying, I'm still learning. Instead of saying, I'll never figure this out, try saying, I haven't figured it out just yet. One word can completely change a sentence. And one sentence can change an entire day. I would love for you to become your safe space, your safe place to be. The world can be hard and challenging enough. And allowing your own mind to be a place where healing happens, where grace lives, where mistakes become lessons, where your growth is celebrated. You become someone that your future self looks forward to coming home to. I hope that makes sense. If your inner voice had a name, Would it sound like your biggest supporter or your harshest critic? I want you to really reflect on that. This week, instead of saying, why am I like this? Why? Try saying, what can I learn from this? Curiosity creates growth, and criticism, well, that creates fear. And it can lead to an unwillingness to change, to be kinder and more gentler to yourself. What's one sentence that you'll stop saying to yourself starting today? I want you to share it in the comments because your words, they truly matter more than you think, more than you realize. Before we go, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a younger version of yourself. And that younger version is standing quietly beside you, listening to every thought, every sentence, every single label. Would you feel loved by the way you speak to yourself today? I'm guessing probably not. And of course, this applies to those of us that are speaking negatively to ourselves on a day-to-day basis. He, wow, I need water. Healing isn't about changing your circumstances. Sometimes it's about changing your conversation because every encouraging word that you speak to yourself becomes another brick to the foundation of who you're becoming. Speak with kindness, speak with hope, speak with grace, speak with compassion, because your inner voice is listening. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love for you to become part of our community by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that you're notified every time I put out another episode. And if someone came to mind while you were listening or watching, share this video with them because you never know um, who may need a reminder that healing begins with the words that we choose to say to ourselves. And if you're ready to intentionally create the life that's aligned with who you're becoming, I'd be honored to walk alongside you. You can explore coaching, guided meditation, and free resources at innerjourneytransformation.com. Now, next time on Reframe with Andrea, that's me. Um, have you ever noticed how one moment can become the script that you live by for years? Next, we'll be learning how to edit the script so that your past is no longer writing your future. Remember, awareness, it opens the door, but intention walks you through it. Until next time, my dear beautiful humans, keep reframing your story one thought at a time. See you soon.